Wyatt Davis, 601 Elite Quarterback on your radio. You can find him on X at Wyatt Dalton 4. Wyatt Dalton 4 here to talk some Mississippi quarterbacks moving past this year into next year. Wyatt, brother, I appreciate you, man, for taking some time. How you doing?
Hey, Jake, how are you, man? I appreciate you having me on the show, my guy.
Oh, absolutely, man. Good to catch up with you and good to see you at the state championships. And I want to talk about some of these quarterbacks with National Signing Day Part 2 coming up this week on Wednesday. And, of course, all the attention will now turn to next year, which we're here. It seems like we get there quicker and quicker. And you just look at some of the quarterbacks. We've talked with you about this before. You get an opportunity to work with a lot of these quarterbacks around the state of Mississippi. And of course, we've been talking about the evolution of the quarterback position in the state of Mississippi. Let's talk about some of these guys. The first one I want to talk about is we'll stay in 2025. You and I were talking about this earlier. Then we'll go to some of these in 26 and then 27. Let's start with Camario Taylor, Noxubee County, Mississippi State commit. And, you and I were standing down on the field at Ole Miss talking before their game, and I never even mentioned to you, but when he came out of the tunnel, and I had not seen him up close and personal, I was blown away that this was a junior in high school and how big, athletic, strong, and just the football skills that he has. What's Mississippi State getting with Camario Taylor?
Man, they're getting a gym with Camario. Camario's about a 6'5", 215-pound quarterback. He's a dual-threat guy. Very accurate, has a ton of arm ability. Can hurt you on the ground as well, run between tackles and off tackles. Smart. Knows how to read defenses. Can make plays happen, extend the plays, such as that. I look for his stock to keep rising, man. He's going to be a big-time player.
When you look down South Mississippi, George County, you don't think a lot of quarterbacks, but Deuce Knight is committed to Notre Dame. This class of 2025. Notre Dame comes in here and grabs, it's always interesting when, a team north of the Mason-Dixon comes in and grabs a kid, but grabs them so early. If that stays true with the Irish, Deuce Knight, and of course a lot of people in South Mississippi know who this young man is. He'll be one of the biggest players in the state this year. What are the Irish getting? And I would assume other suitors will come calling this year as well.
He's going to be another dual-threat quarterback. Deuce is very athletic, has the measurables similar to Camario. His play is a little bit different than Camario, more balanced, being a dual-threat guy. Big-time arm ability, lefty. Runs the ball very well, can break him loose. He's another one. So we'll actually have 2 national recruits in this year's class, both which will have an opportunity to actually be a part of the Elite 11, which I don't know has ever been done for a Mississippi quarterback. So to have those 2 guys in the conversation for that is huge for us.
Wyatt Davis on your radio, Monday edition of the program, 601 Elite Quarterback, talking quarterbacks inside the state of Mississippi. There's a couple more here, class of 25, Garrison Davis, Holmes County Central, also Cleveland Central, Javarius Beeman. And then, of course, the MAIS continues to have good quarterbacks, Billy Puckett at Jackson Prep, Bryce Warner at Tri-County, just a little bit on, one or two of those guys. I'll let you kind of lead the way on that.
So Garrison's going to be one of our sleepers in this year's senior class. 5'10" quarterback out of Holmes County. Very smart player, one of the smartest kids I've been around. Just has a knack for the game. Very accurate, can extend the play. They get a true gem over there with him. I look for him. I think he's got an offer from Alabama State right now. I look like his stocks will end up rising as soon as the season gets started, and then when they get out of this camp circuit as well. Javarius Beeman's another hidden gem in the state out of Cleveland Central, 6'3", 205. Arm ability's off the chart. Kind of has similarities. When I look at a guy to compare him in the league to, I look at Steve McNair. They have identical traits. In the MAIS, you've got Billy Puckett, which is extremely high IQ football guy, very accurate. He's one of those guys, every week when we come to work, man, he's one of those guys that's always going to make a throw. Bryce Warner, they just coming off a state championship win with Tri-County. He's had a really good past 3 years playing, so to finish it out at Tri-County. He'll end up probably finishing out on a strong note and have opportunity to go on.
Let's jump to 2026. When you look at 2026, and there'll be other guys that, kind of surface, so to speak. You got two, though, that stick out in the MAIS and two in the MHSA. You got Braylon Williams at Nettleton, class of 2026, Samuel Stockett at MRA. Then you got Mitch Grandjean at Oxford and Jack Durr at Pearl. Four really, really young, good quarterbacks.
And all of them are going to be really good. So Braylon is another dual threat quarterback. Coach Moorhead actually offered him. And he'll be a dual threat guy, very athletic, ton of arm ability. When I compare him, I don't know if you remember a few years back when Bray Hubbard was playing at Ocean Spring.
Yeah.
I feel like Bray and Braylon Williams actually have similarities in their game. You got Mitch Grandjean coming out of Oxford. He's another kid. He kind of got thrown to fire early. I don't know if you remember a few years ago. They played Clinton at Oxford. I think a few of their quarterbacks were hurt. He got thrown to the fire to go play as a freshman and actually end up leading Oxford to a victory over Clinton. So he's been a guy that's kind of been under the radar for the past few years. Samuel Stockett will be taking over for John White. Ton of ability, arm ability there. He's a smart player, very accurate. And you got Jack Durr at Pearl, who's a phenomenal player. He's a left-handed kid. Got to start early, so he's going to be an experienced player. So that group of quarterbacks right there is going to be really good once they get to being a senior.
We're visiting with Wyatt Davis. Of course, you can find him on X at Wyatt Dalton 4, 601 elite quarterback. And we got one more on here, class of 2027. And they get younger and younger. They get better and better. Sladen Shack over at Brandon. Not a lot of people know that name because Landon Varms was there for, 3, almost 4 years. But Sladen Shack will, by all intents and purposes, take that spot at Brandon. What can you tell our listeners about him?
Sladen Shack's going to be a really good quarterback. Coming into this year, I have high expectations for him. He's one of the most talented young guys I've gotten. He's a hard worker. He's always going to put in the work. Very smart player. Has a very quick release, strong arm. Can make all reads. Can make all throws underneath, over the top. What Landon did this year was, in the past few years, was unbelievable, man. Landon was a ball player, and he's one of the guys I'm working with. Wyatt Rogers and Coach Sam Williams have done a really good job over there, coaching those guys up. It's going to be a train that continues for Brandon, I can tell you that, because, this kid coming in is going to get the job done as well.
Make sure to give him a follow at Wyatt Dalton 4. That's Wyatt Davis, 601 elite quarterback. Wyatt, I appreciate your time today, catching us up. It's going to be a fun year. And look, we'll visit throughout the years. I know you guys will be working with these guys. And, of course, the 7-on-7 circle to hit. We'll be back playing before you know it.
All right, Jake. Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Wyatt Davis on your radio. We're brought to you by Sound Communications online at soundcomav.com. Collaborate, design, and build with Sound Communications. They've been around since 1955. Let them help you in your office, church, place of worship, school, government, or medical facility. Back up with more.